And maybe we can talk about last night's elections or yesterday's elections, because what's amazing to me is because of what you just laid out in large part, because those types of personalities have not spoken up, have not used their platform to talk about the elections. I'm getting texts last night and this morning from people saying, can you believe it? All those Karens in New York voted for a socialist. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. I mean, I'm sure there were some Karens in New York who voted for a socialist, communist Mondami. But what about all the illegal immigrants who cast ballot, whose names, who somehow cast a ballot, whether physically or it was done on their behalf? Do you want to talk a little bit about how do we even start to have this conversation in a meaningful way whenever every single news outlet is reporting on this election as if it was real?
Well, I mean, welcome to the curse that is my life. In some ways, I just throw up my hands in exasperation because I've been saying the same thing for so long, which is until you solve the infrastructure problem, you're not serious. The people that talk about get out the vote, if you're not going to address early voting, mail-in ballots, Dominion, ESNS, you're not serious.
Yeah.
And so when you see these videos of people, clearing out the drop boxes and there's no chain of custody and it just looks ugly and unsecure, and you're sitting there going, oh, you're going to give life to the narratives about whether someone's popularity was rooted in an issue that they talked. You really think that our elections are about abortion now? You really think that? You really think it's about welcoming illegal immigrants and Muslims? Because you can see how you use the weakness of the system to justify whatever narratives you want, which is
Absolutely.
Mandami is a referendum on Trump and what
Right.
he's doing on deportation. This is a message to him. And then you see people running with it like, okay, if this happened in New York, watch out in 2026 because there's going to be so they're seeding the narrative to justify what
Yeah.
we're probably going to see, not because it's true, but because that's what they're going to engineer from a standpoint of perception theater. And so you just scratch your head going, okay, I don't know what to do. And in many respects, I don't feel like I need to keep up with the latest iteration of fraud. Yeah, the machines went down in red precincts. Yes, the poll books had glitches. It's like we've seen this, and so I could report and say, "Hey, everyone, I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right again. Here's a different iteration of it. I'm right about Liberty Vote being a scam
Yeah.
and simply a rebrand from Dominion. I can do that, but at the same time, it's like I've produced a documentary that lays it out about as clearly as humanly possible. And I don't know what it's going to take for people to take the resources and the knowledge of all the experts that we've um, gotten together and compiled this information that we know we're right about the only way you're going to have a secure elections without all the things that I just mentioned. It seems like people are just going to have to be shown and bludgeoned to death. Like you're going to have to live through the painful consequences of being sheep that adopts superficial talking points, whether it's from Dinesh or Mark Levin or Ben Shapiro or Scott Pressler. You can adopt those superficial talking points and say that, yeah, we lost because our rhetoric on Islam is just wrong, or people shouldn't have been talking about babies as much. You can do that, and you'd be a fool. You'd be an absolute fool. Um, so, and the other thing is I have to kind of gauge my own cynicism and reflect that so much of the discourse is being shaped by bots and algorithms on what you
Mm.
can see and what
Yeah.
you don't see.